services provided by these shrimp is that they will hop onto an animal, usually a fish or a stingray, or it could be anything, and then it will pick off the parasites, dead skin cells and anything else nasty that might be sitting there on the skin of the fish that it doesn't really want there.
Yeah, it gets such a good free meal just plucking off those ectoparasites. Obviously it can't do anything about the internal parasites, but those parasites that sort of stick onto the animal, whether it's a fish or a stingray or a shark, they can come along and pluck it off using those little pincers of theirs. And in this way it creates a great symbiotic relationship that we refer to a lot. And of course it's getting a free meal, so it's just plucking all the food off its client, if you like, and it's eating it. So it's getting a free meal and it's also avoiding being eaten. It is the perfect way when you're a juvenile. So this shrimp is a juvenile, but even when it's an adult, it will still remain to be a cleaning animal. So we're going to keep our eye out for the stingray. Now, I'm going to direct you to something really small, Emil. So there's two things, okay? Now here, there is a tiny fish, a tiny blenny, I think. So I'm going to let Pat try and identify it, but it is literally no bigger than my pinky nail, and I bite my nails, so they're very short. It is absolutely tiny, almost invisible to the eye, and it is just sitting on what looks like a beautiful red rope sponge. Now Pat, can you see it?
Yes, we can see it. It's pretty hard to make out any detail, but we definitely can see it there. It's tiny. It's almost as small as the actual paw of that sponge there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how I noticed it, to be honest. But blennies and gobies are two groupings of fish very closely related that do sort of hide out. They rest on the bottom always, and they're always kind of resting in or on sponges and corals and things like that. But this one is a teeny tiny juvenile, so I'm not sure if you can really make out any detail, but I hope you can see it. Now, blennies and gobies are awesome fish, but they are notoriously difficult to identify. So just a few sort of features for you. Gobies do have two dorsal fins. So when you look at those fins on the top of the body, gobies have two. Blennies have one dorsal fin going down their whole body. So that's sort of one thing you can look at. Apart from the triple fin, there is one called the triple fin, which obviously has three, but that's an exception. So gobies have two dorsal fins, and blennies will have one. And also the way they sit, gobies will rest very straight with a rigid body, whereas blennies will have a really curved body and will sort of sit at an angle. So that's two ways you can sort of tell the difference between these tiny fish. But we have another teeny tiny shrimp. Now, I don't expect Pat to be able to identify this at all. I can barely even see it. But I'm just going to point it out because it's so cute. Now, give me a moment to find it. Oh! Okay. This is going to be difficult, Emil. Shall we try? Yeah, let's try. So sitting just up here, it's kind of keeped down a little bit. It is sitting just in here in the sponge. Oh, there it is over here. And it is an absolutely tiny shrimp. I just wanted to see if you guys can see that.
I'm not seeing anything as of yet.
Okay, hold on. Bear with me. It could be my direction. It's right over there resting on the sponge. Maybe it's too small. It's absolutely microscopic, but I just thought I would point it out to you. So this rope sponge has a lot of juveniles on it, including blennies, a goby, and here's one here. And lots of tiny microscopic shrimp. shrimps. It's hanging upside down on that piece of rope sponge. Maybe it's too difficult. Are you getting anything back?
Nah, I can't see anything.
Okay,
it must be
there's a long
too small.
piece of sponge here and it's hanging upside down. But never mind. It's directly above that pufferfish, but it's okay. Maybe it was a bit too challenging.
That's alright, there's still plenty of other things I'm sure on this good little productive bombing here.
Yeah, so we're just going to hang around and have a look because it is really productive. Hoping a stingray might come by, but of course there's no guarantee of that. So we're just going to take it really slowly around the bombing and see what we can see. I'm hoping to get Pat to identify some really small gobies and blennies for me, which I'm sure he will love.
Yeah, I do love blennies. They are one of my favourite fish to spot just because they can move their eyes independently and they have these big pursed lips. So to look at one front on can be very, very funny. It looks like they're pulling a face at you.
Yeah, there's just so much juveniles here, and because it's a bombing on a sandy area, I'm able to sort of kneel down and get quite close without touching anything. So it really gives me the chance to look inside and see what is happening. So this must be, we regularly come here and we do see stingrays, so it must be an area that the stingrays know to come to. This is why we call it the car wash. It's a bit of a joke, it's not officially called the car wash, but it has to be an area that these stingrays remember to come on a sort of, if not daily basis. Now, Emil, do you think we can get these guys? Emil's probably... He's probably laughing at me right now. But right on the sand beside me are two tiny little fish. Are you able to see them and how amazingly camouflaged they are?
Yeah, they're very camouflaged into sand, but we can see they've got that big eye there. And they kind of have almost a frog-shaped head as well, with those two eyes really close together.
Do you think we can get an ID, or is that a little bit too much?
We've actually seen them in pretty good detail right now, so I'll get the ID guide out and have a look.
Yeah, so I'll just describe it while Pat's having a look. I would say it is literally no longer than my pinky finger. I don't want to scare them. They are obviously almost like a translucent sandy colour, and they do have those big eyes that Pat was talking about. Now one has just darted away, but there is still one there, and they seem to be almost resting on their sort of pectoral ventral fins, or possibly anal fins, and they're just resting on the bottom there. They're not continuously swimming like other fish, they are just resting on the sandy bottom, and behind them there is sort of like a burrow. So the minute they sense danger or they are slightly afraid, they are just going to dart inside that burrow. So, any luck, Pat?
I am getting there. It does look like it is a goby. So far, the most similar is the orange spotted goby, but I will keep looking just in case.
Okay.
Ooh, I think I've found a match. It looks like it's the bar-tail goby.
Oh, nice. Nice work, Pat.
Yeah, so it's got those markings in the eyes, and it's covered with those little translucent spots, and I can see the same orange markings down the side of it as well.
Perfect. Well, that's another one then, isn't it, for the species list?
Yes, although I've just flipped the page, and it also looks like it could definitely be a sand canyon goby.
I think that one would be more likely.
Yeah. Or a patch reef goby. They all look very similar.
Okay, well at least we know it's a goby, and we can definitely go and check that once I get up to the surface. But we've never really spent time sort of looking at these guys, and they are very, very camouflaged. But because me and Emil are stationary here, it's sort of easy to point them out. You know, we're spending so much time looking at the small things, we're probably not even going to see if a stingray comes by.
That's alright. That is one of the great things about diving is, you know, sometimes you can just hang back and observe the big things and be on the lookout across the larger landscape. And sometimes you can spend an entire dive just inspecting a tiny little area just to find all the little stuff that hangs around.
Well, that's actually what I plan to do. I'm planning on just sort of crawling along the sand here, just having a really close look at all the tiny things that are here. Now, Emil, there's another tiny thing. He's probably rolling his eyes right now. It's a teeny tiny little fish. I don't want to disturb it. Just hanging almost upside down here next to this purple vase. Oh, it just darted away. Oh, okay, that one darted away. I'm going to find another one. Can you see all the juvenile little damsels here?
Yeah, we can see those bi-coloured damselfish hanging about. So they are the black and orange and white ones there.
Yeah, there's a few adults as well, but there's definitely a lot of juveniles. Now, Emil is very famous for having the eagle eyes, so I'm sure he's also going to find something.
And, oh, sorry, Lauren, here you go.
Go for it.
No, Elle was just requesting that we find some Hamlets for her today as well.
Hamlets?
Yes.
Oh, okay, because that is very interesting. One of our viewers very kindly updated me on the Hamlet that we saw yesterday, and we believed it to be possibly a hybrid, and there is still a chance of that, but it does seem like it is officially the butter Hamlet. So thank you so much for that. We love getting our information from you. So it's a very unusual Hamlet, but it does appear to be a sort of juvenile of the butter. So I'm just looking down here. I'm really enjoying looking for the small things, actually. Something a little bit different, and as some of you may know, we did actually find a seahorse the other day. Oh, is this a juvenile harlequin bass?
Yeah, it looks to be, yep.
Oh wow, that one is tiny. Yeah, so this is a real area for juveniles then. A lot of them must be cleaners or sort of seeking safety in the environment of this cleaning station.
Yeah, so cleaning stations are generally characterised by having a lot of juveniles or smaller fish. We don't really ever get larger fish that actually do the cleaning. It's always the juveniles or the very small fish.
We're just going to go around this moment and then we'll cross back over to the reef. So it doesn't look like any stingrays have appeared at the moment, but you never know.
And it looks like all of the gorgonians on this little patch have their polyps extended.
Yes, they do, and I'm actually looking at the gorgonians very closely. They're not my most favourite thing on the reef, but very often along that sort of long part here, if you like, there can be tiny little shrimps and crabs and gobies disguising themselves along that stem, if you like. So that's actually what I'm looking for in the gorgonians.
Yeah, gorgonians do harbour a lot of different organisms. They're not as much as the stony corals. The stony corals tend to add a hard, kind of really complex structure, whereas the gorgonians will obviously protrude out and branch a lot more. So they don't add that protection, but for things that camouflage, they can definitely hide things, and smaller organisms that can fit in between the branches and the polyps.
Yeah, you just need the time, you just need to go slowly to look through all of these things. Otherwise, if you just swim over them quickly, you will end up missing them. Now, we do have a big grey angelfish, and it looks like she's coming our way. It's not often we see the grey, so hopefully she does come to this little cleaning station. We're just going to stay still for a moment. Yeah, it looks like she is.
Yeah, we can definitely see that one there. So nice big grey angelfish. Can you please tell us how big you think this one is?
This is huge. I would guess this is almost full size, way bigger than my dinner plate, sort of like a football, basketball size. She or he is huge. And appears, oh, she just ate something. Appears to be alone, which is also quite unusual, as normally they travel in mating pairs. But it is quite unusual for us to see the grey. The French angelfish is far more common around here during our dives. But yeah, this is a grey one.
Yeah. It was actually really surprising to me. We did a dive in our mangroves the other day near our house, and it turns out there is quite a lot of grey angelfish there in the mangroves. So I really only ever thought to associate angelfish with coral reefs, but to see them inhabiting this wide range of habitats was really surprising.
Yes, it was a rather interesting experience snorkeling. I was not brave enough to dive, Pat did, in the mangroves. It is a whole new environment to me, for sure. Okay, so we're kind of almost finished doing a circle. We're just going to have a look at this little area here to see if there's anything hiding out, and then we will travel over the sandy patch to the reef. So I'm just looking. And this would be the perfect location for an octopus as well.
Oh, if you could find one of them, I would be very happy.
Me too. It would be the creme de la creme. As well as a loggerhead. Yes.
That would be just about the two last things we need. Oh, I mean, a seahorse live would be great, but I think we were just lucky enough to see one in general.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal experience as well. I wonder where this stingrays are at.
Yeah.
We might bump into one crossing the sandy patch.
So they do tend to be here in the early morning. We have had a pretty high success rate, but that doesn't mean we're always going to see it. That's just one of the things about being down here in the ocean, is something could be happening consistently over such a long period of time, but you could still never ever guarantee that it's going to happen every single time.
Yeah, that's right. And I have focused a lot on cleaning stations in my life, mainly to do with manta rays. However, oh, look at this guy kicking out here. Let's see. Oh, he's so cute. Let's see if Emil can get this tiny little guy. He's just kicking right out the rocks. Looks like a blenny to me, but it's so small that you will actually have a better view of this than I. Can you see this guy?
Whereabouts is it? Sorry?
I don't really want to...
Oh, yes, no, we can see it with the yellow eyes there.
Yeah, it's peeking out of the dead coral there.
Yeah.
What a good visual.
So this is definitely a blenny. We can see that eye going crazy there. So the eye on the other side of the head will be moving completely independently of this one. So I'll get the ID book out and see if I can find what this one is.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to describe it because it's so small, and I'm trying to actually stay a little bit farther away because I don't want to scare the blenny. So take your time. It's not going to be easy, but it's really cute, and that's how we often do find blennies, just peeking out of a little burrow or a little hole in coral. Now there is a sailfin blennies here, which I am determined to show you on a live dive before we leave. You think it's going to be possible to ID them, Pat?
I think it might be. I'm just having a quick flick through all of the different types of blennies, but we can actually see it in pretty good detail, especially the head and the eye there.
Oh, you'll be able to see it way better than I can. It is minuscule. It is really, really, really small, and I just think it's so cute how they just sort of come out of their little hole, checking us out, and at any moment it could just slide back in there. Now, this is not a hole that the fish have made, it's just sort of something they have found He is. Oh, he just came out there. There's actually a few of them. He is actually in a hole within a coral bombing. It is actually a boulder star coral. Parts of it are alive, but where this blenny is, it's all dead. So he's obviously just found a little nook or cranny and decided that that is to be his forever home. So cute.
So, I don't think I'm going to be able to identify this one. Oh, we got an arrow crab though.
You have an arrow crab?
Yeah. So Emil's got a really nice shot of an arrow crab. It's fully out of any hiding as well. We can see its purple claws there, and that big elongated rostrum as well.
Oh, hello there. Yeah, I'm way down on the sand. There's no way I would have been able to see that. What a great find. They are really unusual, and I'm not going to pretend I'm slightly creeped out by them sometimes. They're very spider-like, but they aren't sea spiders. They are the arrow crab. They are quite common around here, and they are yellow, but they do have bright purpley blue pincers. I'm not sure if you're able to see them, but they're just so striking and have such a different coloration to the rest of the body. They are one of the few animals, or one of the few crustaceans, that do actually eat their exoskeleton once they shed it. There is some others that do it, but once they get rid of that old shell in order to sort of molt, they eat what they have shed, which doesn't sound so yummy to me.
No. And this is just to replace calcium carbonate, so they have more to put back into their shells, so it's actually a nice little form of recycling there.
Or upcycling,
yeah,
possibly.
well, yeah.
So we are going to just travel over the sandy patch, and we're going to go head to the reef, and you never know what we'll see. We will slowly go shallower as well. So there wasn't any stingrays, but that was a lovely little coral bombing to show you the exact definition of a cleaning station. Oh, look at this huge feather duster worm, I believe.
Yeah, wow.
Oh, is it a horseshoe? I am not sure. Do you have any idea, Pat?
I believe it may be a feather duster worm, but I will double check that one.
It's huge. So we do often show you the Christmas trees, but this one is a feather duster worm. Very closely related. There is a worm living in that calcareous tube that you can see. And again, similar to the Christmas tree worm, those sort of feathery dustery parts are actually its feeding and breathing appendages. So it's not designed like a Christmas tree, but it does the exact same function.
So yeah, I can confirm it's definitely a feather duster worm. As for the specific species, I'm not too sure though.
Oh, it's just really large. I haven't actually seen one that large sticking out the sand alone. Normally they're in little colonies. Now we are going to move on from that, Emil. Just get a little bit shallower. We're still at 15 meters, but the visibility is really reduced down here. It's very, very poor. We can only see a few meters in front of us. So we are just going to head over to the reef here. It's very close, and hopefully the visibility might pick up a little bit.
And it looks like we're swimming over a lot of eels here, of garden eels.
Yes, we are.
So they are all the little wispy, black, stringy-like things sitting out of the water there, out of the sand there. So they all have their own separate burrow, and they're obviously retreating as we do approach them.
Yeah. So we are going to keep swimming over them. But while we're swimming, Pat can shed his knowledge on these animals.
Yeah, so they are filter feeders, so if you'll notice they are all facing in the same direction, and this is to utilise the current to their advantage. So they will all be sitting in there ingesting the oncoming particles of plankton, which may be small types of larvae or crustaceans, or just any small organism that can't really fight the current and so drifts within it, right into the eel's mouth.
And we have made it to the reef on the other side. So just for an update, I have 110 bar, and we are now at this reef. So let's go and explore and see what we can find here as we make our way shallower.
Sure, and CJ is just requesting that we have a look at a conch as well.
Oh, okay, we have sort of passed the area where I imagine we'll find them, sorry. They're sort of on the sandy patch. We now are hovering above the reef, but if we do see one, we will point it out for you.
And it looks like there's just masses of, I'm not sure whether it's bluehead or yellowhead wrasse. It is hard to tell when they're in their female phase, but it looks like there's heaps there.
Yeah, I do think it's the bluehead ones. They're moving really fast. They're all juveniles. They're also cleaners. There must be a lot of cleaners getting ready for the day. I did actually start to mention this earlier, but a stock. I have done a lot of work on cleaning stations, and the cleaning activity is at its highest in the morning. So lots of fish do request to be cleaned in the morning, and they come to a cleaning station. Oh, have we got a hamlet? Is it the masked one?
Yes, this is the masked hamlet, called so because of that black mask there, making it look like a superhero or a robber or something.
Oh no, there's another one as well. There's a barred one. Oh, there's quite a lot of hamlets here. Oh, wow.
We don't often see the masked hamlet, so it's a really nice sighting, and they've got really solid black fins and then blue ones on the bottom, so they're really multicoloured and quite beautiful.
Yeah, we are after a golden hamlet. That is the one main hamlet we haven't really seen. It's incredibly beautiful in its markings, and we are desperate to see it. So, fingers crossed. That's another thing on the list that we really hope to see before the end of our phase 1 here in Grand Cayman.
Yes, we are running out of time, but we have been in a lot of luck lately with our dives, so you never know what we're going to find.
Yeah, the ocean seems to be very productive at the minute. A lot happening. We've had a really high amount of turtle sightings. And I do wonder if this is because all of these sexually active females have gone off into the deeper waters, away out into the blue, to meet with the males and mate, and then they've come back to their foraging grounds. They don't necessarily go straight to the nesting grounds. So I do wonder if that's happened, because for the hawksbills, there is actually a season that runs between May and November, so we're sort of in the middle of it right now, where they mate. So I do wonder if a lot of mating and reproduction is happening right now. But at the moment, I'm not sure if Emil would agree with me, but I would say the visibility for us is no more than 5 meters. It's very reduced, so we are going to try to just stay around the... Oh, turtle!
Ooh.
I think. I don't know, the visibility's so bad, I think it's a turtle. Emil said it is. Imagine if it was just a big parrotfish, huh? Yeah, so it's quite far away, so I'll let Pat talk while we're swimming to get this little turtle.
Yeah, so we can see that coming right into the middle here. And it does look to be a hawksbill turtle. Yes, almost. Yep, it's definitely a hawksbill turtle. So I'm going to get up a database now.
Yes, please do. I don't know who this is. Is this a juvenile? Or is it sandy? Those facial markings to me look like it's sandy. Pat actually saw her yesterday, if I'm correct. But I'm not sure, so I will let Pat get up that database. We are focusing on the facial pattern of the scales at the side of the face. and that is what we match up in our database. I did check out Sandy yesterday and studied her for a little while, and the facial markings are very similar.
Yeah, sorry, this is definitely Sandy.
Woohoo! I got it right. So you start to learn the turtles after a while, and I always thought that Sandy was an adult. We actually only saw her once, and I'm not sure it was even me who saw her. I believe it was Simone who found Sandy originally. But she looks really, really small here. Possibly just at the end of her juvenile phase, sort of becoming an adult, but I don't think she's sexually mature yet for sure. So this is amazing. We saw, when was the first sighting of Sandy? Can you bring it up on the database, Pat?
Sorry, what was that?
The first ever sighting of Sandy.
Yeah. So, bear with me. So I've just got the database up now.
Not a problem. So we sighted her quite a while ago. Pat will obviously give more information. And then all of a sudden, we didn't see her for a long time, and then now we met her yesterday and today. So that kind of tells me that she left the foraging grounds for some reason. And turtles will really only do that for mating, or if they've been under threat, or if the food source was dramatically reduced here. I wonder where Sandy went.
So, the last time, the first time, sorry, we spotted Sandy was over 2 months ago on the 18th of April.
Oh, wow. I thought that, you know. Yeah, I wonder where she went. She is definitely...
Sorry, the 18th of May. 18th of May.
Yeah, we weren't here in April.
Yeah, sorry, May. I got my dates mixed up there.
Well, yeah. Now, I'm going to try and explain. It's kind of hard. I'm not very good at actually judging size and distance and things like that. But if Emil can just quickly put the camera on me, I'm going to show you a technique that we do use to measure turtles. So Emil, over this way. Emil, over here. So, using this as a marker from here to my elbow, we're actually able to sort of gauge whether she is an adult or not. It's a technique that's quite widely used. So I would never get too close to her to scare her or touch her. But if you are able to get a little bit close, you can sort of put your elbow out and mark that for size against her carapace. So I would definitely say that she is just not quite an adult. She's not quite reached that 60 centimetre carapace length yet. And this is called the curved carapace length. You will notice her shell is not completely straight, it's a curve. So we call it the curved carapace length from the bottom of the shell to the top. And it's not quite 60 centimetres, I would say, which is the approximate length we give to say whether she's a reproductive adult or not. You can just see her wee tail peeking out here. So she's definitely female, but whether she's sort of sexually active and reproductive, I'm really not sure. She's definitely smaller than I thought she was, but it's great to see her. She's not threatened by my presence at all, and she is looking for a yummy sponge to eat. So when measuring turtles, just sort of get a measurement of this part of your arm, and you can use that as a gauge when getting that shell length, because it's really important. The length of the shell sort of signals to us their age and whether we can confirm if it's a male or female or not. So hey, Sandy.
So Lawrence, Bass is asking, how many turtles do we have in our database?
Oh, that is a good question. We now have 14 hawksbills, and Loveheart was our number 14, who we saw the other day. and we do have 2 greens. Unfortunately, my loggerhead page is empty, but you never know, we still have a few days remaining. However, this project will be opened up to the entire Cayman, and everyone will be welcome to submit their photos, and hopefully the database will grow. And it just gives a little bit of information on the populations and the individuals. We are starting to get to know these turtles, their age, about approximate age, their behavior, their feeding grounds, whether they're going to be ready to mate, ready to nest. It can actually give you a lot of information the more data that you collect.
And yeah, that kind of ties in with this question here from Love Dogs. She's asking, what can we do to help protect the hawksbill turtles?
Well, I mean, it's not just the hawksbills. Hawksbills are listed as critically endangered by the IUCN Red List. But all turtles, 6 out of 7 of the species of turtles, are all either endangered, vulnerable, or critically endangered. So they are all under threat, so I'll sort of generalize my answer to cover all turtles, not just the hawksbill. They are suffering from so many threats, almost all of them from humans. So we need to be very aware of our impact on the ocean. And firstly, I would say reduce what we put into the ocean. Our plastic pollution and just our general pollution is so threatening for these guys. One of the biggest problems is actually ghost nets, which are old discarded fishing nets that fishermen just throw into the ocean because they no longer want them. Maybe they're broken or damaged, but they float. So they stay on the surface and the turtles come up for air. They go to have a little look to see what the net is, and they end up completely entangled. So this needs to stop. Throwing discarded fishing gear into the ocean needs to stop, or we need to look at making biodegradable gear or something that does not affect these animals. We need to leave our coastlines intact. Turtles need the beaches. It's actually part of their world where they go and lay the eggs on the beach. So we need to keep our beaches intact and stop taking that away from them with coastal development. Oh, I thought that was another turtle, but it's not, sorry. Yeah, the visibility's playing tricks on me here. But regarding the hawksbill specifically, it is actually hunted for its shell, because its shell is used for jewellery, known as tortoise shell. So that industry obviously needs to stop. If there's no demand, there will be no market. So we need to make sure that we don't buy the product that is came directly from the hawksbill sea turtle. Is there anything you would add to that, Pat?
Yeah, well, I just think another thing to be mindful of is your carbon footprint and how you're contributing to global warming, because for sea turtles, the sex of the baby turtles after they hatch in their nest is determined by temperature. So you have cool dudes and hot chicks, meaning that if it's warmer, you'll have girls, and if it's cooler, you'll have boys. So if there's an increase in what's a normal temperature, then there's only going to be one sex, and if there's only one sex, then that means that there can't be sexual reproduction, and therefore populations will decline.
Yeah, they are worried that global warming will produce far too many females and not enough males. So I am on 80 bar, so we're just coming a little bit shallower, and it's really difficult for us to see today. Half of my mask is fogged, so I cannot really see out my right eye, and the visibility is dramatically reduced. So we're just going to slowly go along the reef, see if we can spot anything, but I'm happy to answer any turtle questions, as we did just have a short encounter with Sandy.
Well, we have a question here from Gail. She's asking, will our turtle monitoring program remain in the Cayman Islands, and will it spread to other nations in the world?
It definitely will remain in the Cayman Islands. It's just a little initiative that I have a lot of experience with. 6 years experience with in Maldives. They are already running it there really successfully with lots of contributors nationwide, from the north to the south. So many people are contributing, and that's what we need. It needs to be an open, transparent platform that everyone has access to and everyone can contribute to. So it will definitely remain in the Cayman Islands, championed by the one and only John Foster's Dive Centre. They will help lift it off the ground. At the moment, it's a very small database, and I would love to see it go international. Science doesn't have to be limited to scientists. It should be open to everybody. So this is what we call a citizen science project that anyone can participate in and anyone can help. All you need is a camera. Unfortunately, you do need a photo of the turtle or it cannot be submitted. So it's a non-invasive technique. The turtle is not harmed or even bothered. Hey, yeah, that person's taking a photo of me again. They probably love it. And you don't touch them, you don't affect them, but just that one single photo can provide so much information. So I personally hope that it will spread around the globe, but let's wait and see. Oh, it's a tarpon, Emil. I think we both thought it was a shark. Oh, that was huge. So we do have a barracuda up ahead of us, but it's swimming away quite furiously.
Yeah, we are getting a good look at it though, that really silvery body of it. So it's obviously got its lighter colours on at the moment, but it can lighten and darken according to the environment that it's in.
Yeah, we normally see them cruising quite slowly over the reefs, but actually these guys can go pretty fast. They can go between 27 to 30 miles per hour. And it seems to have a little buddy. Can you see what fish is swimming beside it?
I can see the fish. As for the species, I'm not sure, but I'm assuming it's a cleaner fish of some sort.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be able to see that fish, but it is accompanying the barracuda on its journey. There's a lot of cleaning happened today.
So Gail has extended an invitation to you, Lauren, to go to the Bahamas. She said she'd love to help with the sea turtle project there.
Oh, amazing. I am there. It is actually my dream to go over to the Bahamas, and I was hoping to make it on this trip. But definitely reach out. We can communicate, and I can definitely help you launch it there. It's very simple. There's just a few techniques to put in place. But yeah, let's do that. Reach out, and we can hopefully start it over in the Bahamas. Now, I think Emil has spotted something. You can see his eyes light up. But I am half blind here, so I'm really not sure what it is. Let's take a look.
I'm thinking it might be a spiny lobster.
Oh, amazing way to end the dive.
It is.
We're seeing a lot of lobsters recently, aren't we, Pat?
Yeah, there's been quite a few around at the moment.
Yeah, again, I think it's a sort of another seasonal thing.
Yeah. And it looks like this one's missing half of one of its antenna.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, I can see that now. Oh, not half, I would say it's just missing that little end part. But yeah, it's obviously been damaged somehow, because this is what they use to fight, so they can easily damage their antennas, because they're always whacking things and telling other fish and animals to go away. And when we were diving the other day, we actually did witness a lobster hitting Gretchen, I believe it was, with their antenna. So Gretchen was obviously in the way, and he was just whacking her as hard as he could with his antenna. So they will sort of take on any fight in order to protect themselves and defend their little dens.
Yeah, and this one's obviously had something have a nip at it to kind of try and get through, but it has obviously worked in terms of defence, because it's not dead, it's just sustained a little bit of damage.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It obviously worked, yeah. So they are able to really use them for defense, and they're able to screech them. This kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies, against their shell, and it creates this huge loud noise that also deters predators. So these antennas are really important in defense all round. Now, we seem to be seeing a lot of big lobsters in their dens. This is what we call them. Now, they could be sort of waiting for the next female to come along, because the females all come along and they mate with several different males over a long period of time. The males are actually very territorial and very aggressive. So if the female is looking to sort of shack up with the local tough guy, she does have to calm him down. She does have to make him less aggressive before she can get into his den. And to do that, she basically just stands outside his den, urinates and wafts in her urine into the den. Very romantic stuff right here. And her urine will contain lots of interesting scents and pheromones. And these pheromones will relax him. He will really like the smell of them. He's an olfactory predator. He loves smells, and they will eventually relax him and make him a lot more, less aggressive, and a lot more available to mating. So the female shacks up with him. She molts. She's protected. She gets to mate with him, and then she leaves. And a fantastic study actually shows that all the females within one localized area will actually stagger their molting times. So instead of all needing to molt at the same time and all needing to find a tough guy at the same time for protection, they actually stagger it like a giant conga line, so that they can all shack up with the same tough guy after one another. So the minute one female has left the den, the next thing you know, there'll be another female wafting in her urine to the same guy. How fascinating is that?
Yeah, it's a pretty easy life for the male. And CJ and Love Dogs have both noticed that there was an arrow blenny photobombing that lobster there. So good spotting, guys.
Oh, impressive. You guys are too good. I'm determined to find that fish that no one can get. But I haven't quite found it yet.
So Proud Cat Mama wants to know whether lobsters migrate.
Yes, they do. They have very famous long migrations which are sort of initiated by environmental factors, and they all migrate at the same time and form very long queues, which contain between 50 to 60 individual lobsters, all sort of marching along across the sandy bottom. It is actually very amusing to watch, but it's done in such a way that each lobster protects the other. Now consider lobsters are quite aggressive and territorial with one another. It's very strange to see them all come together in such a formation that is designed to all protect one another and to protect the most vulnerable part of a lobster, which is the abdomen. So yes, they do, and I would just love to see it.
Yeah, it would be great to see one of those queues. And we did just see that the lobster was actually cleaning its antennule. And that's very important for the lobster, because the antennules are actually their chemosensory organs, in that they will be very sensitive to chemicals in the water. So they really have to keep it nice and neat and clean.
Yeah, so Pat obviously mentioned that there was damage to the longer antennae, which is a good thing. It probably maybe saved its life. But those other antennules, they could not have any damage done to them, because as Pat said, it houses the chemosensory organs. So that's why they have those bigger ones, to sort of use them as the main defense. Now they can have up to 400 different receptors on these smaller antennules, because they really, really are good at sniffing out all the chemical signals and odours in the water. And on that note, I have reached 50 bar, which is where we end the dive. So that was a really enjoyable dive for me. We've travelled quite far, starting off at that really productive cleaning station, looking for teeny tiny things that were literally no bigger than my pinky nail. And then we bumped into Sandy, which is really impressive considering I can barely see into the distance. I do hope the visibility improves. But thank you for joining us once again. We are ending our broadcast very sadly on Saturday the 28th, but that's just phase 1. Don't worry, phase 2 is still to come, and all our success is down to you guys. So thank you again, thank you Emil, and thank you Pat. Pat will be underwater with you at 11, so stay tuned, and we'll see you later.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to diving with you all then, so have a good rest of your day, and if not, I'll be seeing you in 3 hours.